what we can not to hurt the citizens. For example, these days, actually today,
you kill more than 70,000 civilians.
No,
there are more than shoot. Not the children, not the women.
The specific war will end when the organization will release all our hostages and will give up his weapon because we can't stop the war as long as we have the hostages.
This kind of propaganda have too many. No one believe it.
All what we can not to hurt the citizens. For example, these days, actually today,
you kill more than 70,000 civilians.
No,
there are more than shoot. Not the children, not the women.
The specific war will end when the organization will release all our hostages and will give up his weapon because we can't stop the war as long as we have the hostages.
This kind of propaganda have too many. No one believe it.
Hey, shalom, shalom, all praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles, Elder Bishop, the Great Millstone, rule well. Peace and blessings to you fellow brothers pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Kwadash. All right, shalom, shalom to all the believers. Okay, the Edomite, in particular, the small hat. The small hat is under high-level scrutiny. As you've seen in this video, you have the Chinese, some type of government official, and then you have, a Israeli government official. I'm not sure. I don't know their titles, but they're at some type of, some type of meeting, okay, and China is basically cursing out the small hats. You can see that there's a different spirit that's out there in the earth that's concerning the Edomites and in particular the small hat. All right, because there's only so much you can hide. Their power has been, sure because of their secrecy. People were ignorant to the fact of what they were doing. But now we're in a digital age. The scriptures say knowledge shall increase. We're in a digital age where everything is being watched. Okay, there's cameras everywhere, and the internet is wild. You can't really control the internet as it stands right now, and this is why they're taking steps to completely censor the internet because they're being exposed. Now you see here, China, he got the finger basically shaking the hand. And when you shake the hand, you're cursing somebody out. Let me go ahead and let me get Joel. I got a couple of scripts. I'm not gonna make this too long. I got another video that I got from the elder Las Vegas, Karataza. Basically with them Arabs too, they're making alliances. Ishmael and Elam are making alliances in the so-called Middle East, West Asia, because of the crazy lunatic moves that those small hats are making, and America's backing them up. And there's a universal outcry against these people, but they hold the power. But there's moves being made, okay, to basically destroy them, and that lines up directly with biblical prophecy, how these other nations are gonna come against them. Okay, but let me get Joel 3, all right, because this is unprecedented for these nations. China, the Arab nation, they've tried before, but they were suppressed. They were put down because they weren't on the level of power that the small had, the so-called white man, the Edomite had. Okay, but now there's new kids on the block. Okay, China's economically stronger, militarily stronger, and they have alliances with big time nations like Russia. Okay, and the things that these small hats are doing in front of the whole world's eyes and try to gaslight the whole world into thinking that they are the victim when they're clearly the villain. Okay, it's not working anymore. Okay, it's not working. All right, and there's the great equalizers out there. All right, nuclear missiles. Joel 3:9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. At one point, 60, 70 years ago, really, actually, not too long ago, really, 40 years ago, China was a very, very weak nation. They could dare not speak with that pride against the so-called white man, the small hat. Not too long ago, pretty much China cursed out America. I believe they were in some type of summit in Alaska, and China basically cursed out America. So you're starting to see it. There's a different sentiment amongst these other nations because there's only so much you can take. And these nations also are they have the technology, sometimes even better than Esau. They have the technology, okay, better than Esau. Their economies are stronger than Esau, and they're forming economic and military alliances with each other to break away from, all right, the American dollar, okay, that SWIFT system. All right, you have Saudi Arabia and China. They have a agreement in which they're buying, China's buying oil from Saudi Arabia in yuans. If a nation did that, a weak nation did that, America will go to war against that nation. But they have to tread very, very carefully, because the Lord, he has built up other nations to combat, all right, the so-called white man and their power structure. And a nation can only last for so long. The only nation down here on the earth that's going to have everlasting peace, everlasting power, is the nation of Yasha, the true Israelites. Not those small hats, the true Israelites, the so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American. Let me just finish this scripture. So the plowshares and the pruning hooks, they represent our tools of agriculture, because that's the lifeblood of a population. You got to eat. So now what they're doing is they're moving away from building up their economies, agriculturally. Okay, because that's how, nations, that was like the main staple of a nation's society was the food. Now what are they doing? They're putting all that into defense or war, basically. Just like Trump, he changed the name back from the Department of Defense to Department of War. That's the original name, because we're in the time of war. There's a spirit of war out there, and nations are taking more of an aggressive stance against this Edomite, in particular the small hat, because it's clear to see what they're doing to those Palestinians, and they want to censor anybody that speaks out against them. But the cat's already out of the bag. You can't censor everybody. Okay, there's a spirit that's against you. All right, it says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I'm strong. And that's pretty much what I wanted to get. You have, I want to play this one more time, but you can see he's basically like, nah, you lying. Okay, now you over here, you killing women and children. We see the video. We see we see actually what you're doing. You're targeting the vulnerable. Okay, how could you try to change that narrative? Okay, so these other nations, they're preparing to take this damn devil out. Okay.
All what we can not to hurt the citizens. For example, these days, actually today,
You kill more than 70,000 civilians.
You see that? You kill more than 70,000 civilians, and he's cursing them out. He doesn't have a happy face. The Chinese are like, to hell with you. Okay, we got power too. All right, you can't come to me with that BS. You're literally destroying civilians under the guise of you fighting terrorists. And this is how this damn devil has been able to, control the world, since he came into power during the Renaissance, the rebirth of that old ancient Roman Empire. Okay, he's coming with that same spirit, all right, that same sneaky demonic spirit. And he's being called out. He's under scrutiny. We're going to get that definition, scrutiny, as well, which goes into inquisition. Okay?
No. There are more than should not the children, not the women.
The specific war will end when the organization will release all our hostages and will give up his weapon because we can't stop the war as long as we have the hostages.
This kind of propaganda have too many. No one believe it.
See, nobody believes it. See, the Edomite, he's been able to use propaganda and it's been able to work. Okay, but now we're in a time of that veil being pulled from off the nation's eyes. Okay, they're starting to see that he's the same old serpent. He's the same old devil. He uses the same tactics. And all these nations now are starting to make military, economic, social, economic ties with each other, agreements with each other, all in order to come against the Edomite. And that's prophecy, okay? I'm just going to read a couple of comments to see the sentiment of the people. He called bullshit. No one in the world believes you anymore. See? Hats off to the Chinese gentleman for calling out this psychopath. No, they're Edomites. And yeah, they're in their right mind. This is their right mind. And the whole world was starting to see you cannot reason with the devil. Okay, you cannot make deals. You can make deals with the devil, but he's always going to, he's always going to stab you in your back. Okay, if you play with a serpent, you're gonna get bit. The serpent might not bite you right then and there, but because of the nature of the serpent, he's going to bite. Okay, so these are these people. Okay, he's a father of lies. Okay, I don't think the Chinese are our enemies. I salute you, Mr. Yang. Allah bless you, right? This Yang dude, he's a good guy. 75 years of propaganda and genocide. Isolate Zionist Israel, see? And they're being isolated because of their, because of their actions. Okay, they're being isolated. Let me get this word, scrutiny. And then I want to go, let me hold Jeremiah 49, and then I want to get Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter as well, Habakkuk 2. All right, maybe we'll get into Obadiah as well. All right, but let's look at this word scrutiny. Close, careful examination or observation. And because we are all connected via the internet, we're able to see everything that's going on in the earth. So if there's a war, even though you have, so-called mainstream media and mainstream social media that, blocks particular things, they can't block everything. There's other platforms in which this information is coming out. So everything is under careful examination and observation. So you're saying one thing, or we're fighting the so-called theists, yet the whole world is seeing that the majority of the people that are being unalived are women and children. Okay, and I've seen the videos. We've all seen the videos. Okay, how gruesome it is. You'd be like, God damn. And it'd be all so-called women and children. And then all the information is coming out on how they really truly feel about the whole world, how they have a so-called God complex. And the majority of them, they don't even believe in the Most High. Okay, but they use the Bible as a cover to say that they are the people of the Most High, and what they're doing is fighting for a righteous cause, when it's clearly not a righteous cause. All right, it's a wicked cause. And how is that being uncovered? Well, the Lord is putting the spirit of truth out there, and everything now is being scrutinized. Okay, the same book that you use, Esau, all right, to go around the whole world and and subjugate, especially the Israelites, and to, basically, justify yourself in the murders, in the covetousness, the robbery, the rape that you have done. You're being scrutinized out of that same book, and you're being shown to be actually the devil, which means deceiver. Okay, Satan, the adversary, and the enemy of Yahweh Shema Shai, the enemy of the Most High. And we're seeing these nations, the Lord is arming these other nations to come against you, or that had alliances with you, that didn't have power to come against you. They're now starting to have an evil eye towards you. Okay? Close examination, minute inspection, critical observation. And that's this video right here. You're being called out for all your lies, all your propaganda, and the whole world actually sees that it's a lie. But if you want to be somebody in this world, especially if you want to be, make money, you want to be a celebrity, make money, or you want to be in politics, all right, you want to be in any type of social, you want to have social status, well, you better go with the status quo. And the status quo is you don't say anything critical about them small hats. All right, but the truth is going to come out regardless, okay? So let me play this other video, and I got this video. The elder, he was playing this video in his GMS Vegas sit downs. I believe 144. He was playing this video, so I'm gonna play a little bit of this video. I think I sped it up. Let me see. Yeah, sped it up a little bit so you can hear this. But this is Saudi Arabia signs defense pact. When they say defense pact, it means war with nuclear armed Pakistan. What it means for India.
Diplomatic developments. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have signed a new strategic mutual defense agreement. What does this mean? Well, under the pact, an attack on either country could be considered an aggression against both. The agreement was signed by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. Now, the deal comes days after an Israeli strike in Doha targeting Hamas leaders.
See that? It came days after the Israeli strike, okay, in Qatar, a sovereign nation, the so-called target Hamas.
Reportedly, but the U.S.
This is like let's say China, fighting terrorists, right? And they bomb L.A., a house where L.A. where they believe Hamas was in, or whatever terrorist, Al Qaeda, whatever it may be, whatever terrorists that they're fighting, their enemy, they bomb America. That's going to be looked at as an act of war. All right, from America. And China says, no, we bombing the terrorists. We not even, they're like, bro, you can't do that. But see, the small hat, he's been able to, do whatever the hell that he want to do because the power is in his hand. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, Job 9:24. But see, now these nations are very carefully scrutinizing and examine this damn devil and say, look, we got to do something. We might even be enemies. All right, but hey, look, we gotta link up because this dude is out of control. He doesn't respect anything. Okay, and they know that you're behind all this bullshit too.
Criticized this initial attack as a unilateral attack. Now, in response, India's Ministry of External Affairs has acknowledged the signing. The Indian government says that it's aware of the development and assured that it will closely study its implications on national security and regional stability. I'm going to bring you more context here. We're also waiting for reporters to join us and tell us a little bit more. Siddhant, first tell us broadly, and we'll come to you with more questions. But first, for India, what does this effectively mean? For example, if there's another India versus Pakistan situation that comes up like what we saw.
But see, so that's pretty much all that I wanted. There's more information on that. But basically, if there's an attack on Saudi Arabia, India will step in. If there's an attack on India, Saudi Arabia will step in. This is just like the defense pact that North Korea and Russia have. The defense pact of Russia and Iran. Okay, more pacts are going to be, established between these other nations. Okay. These other nations to, really at the end come against America. Even NATO, the allied NATO, all right, or the EU, they're going to come against, Babylon the Great. That's Revelation 17. So everything, because it's obviously, and it's obvious and clear, all right, that you cannot reason with this damn devil. You can't. They're fucking it up for everybody. Why? They're like, just chill, bro. Like, let's just make money and chill. And nah, Esau don't want that. Esau wants control of the whole planet Earth, and and Esau has this plan to, basically subvert all powers on the earth and put them under his control through digital means. Well, it's not going to work. And by the way, Yahweh Shai is coming back. Damn devil. So let me get Jeremiah 49. Yep, Jeremiah 49. And yeah, and I'll read verse 7. Just bear with me 1 second. Give me 1 second. All right, this is Jeremiah 49 and 7. Now here in the blue letter, the subtitle here is Prophecy Against Edom. And why don't none of these Christians, why don't they bring out prophecy? Well, because they don't know prophecy. And if any of these Christians come up, you already know what questions they're going to ask. God is for everybody. God loves it. It's the same narrative. All you got to just switch the narrative up. Ask them about prophecy. Go into the prophecies. And guarantee you they're going to stumble and they're going to fall. Or they're going to have to get up out of there. So just control the narrative and drown them spiritually. Take them into deep waters. Okay? What about the prophecy concerning Edom? Did this happen yet? Okay? Ask them where's Teman at? Who's Esau? They don't know. Okay? Jeremiah 49 and 7. Concerning Edom. So this is concerning Edom. The Edomites. Who are the Edomites? Through process of elimination, we know through their actions. Okay? Through their actions who they are on the earth. The so-called Caucasian race. The pink race. The people that actually control things. The ones that are bombing the hell out of everybody. Destroying everybody. Experimenting on everybody. Being the damn devil. Okay? Thus said the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Yeah, because it's like you were this darling, right? You were the world's darling. Everybody wanted to be like you, right? But you were doing shit behind the scenes. But now you can't hide. You literally can't even hide. All right? And none of your wisdom, what the scriptures say, stand now with thy enchantments. None of your wisdom, knowledge, and understanding can get you out of the situation that you're in. You have the Chinese cursing you out. You have the Saudis striking deals with nuclear powers. You have these Arab nations coming together. You're basically creating the environment for the whole world to come against you. And this is essentially what the scriptures say. Because you can't stop. You won't stop. The pride, your pride has got, even though the world is coming against you, literally still believe you're going to win. That's the pride of Esau, man. Okay? And man, when this dude, when Esau go down, the whole earth is going to rejoice. And then we going to put holy hell, non-stop hell on you Edomites. All right, starting with you Amalekites. Okay, them small hats. Flee, turn back, dwell deep, O inhabitants of Dedan. For I will bring calamity of Esau upon him the time that I will visit him. Yeah, the Lord hasn't visited Esau yet. Okay, Esau has been given liberty to pretty much go to and fro through the earth and cause havoc. And that's basically what he has done. But now we're in a time of retribution. We're in a time of harvest. We're in a time of reaping. You have sown wickedness. Well, let me get that in Job. Just real quick. I believe that's Job 4, maybe 8 or something like that, or 7. Right, Job 4 and 8. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity, that's Esau, and sow wickedness, right, reap the same. See? By the blast of the Most High they perish, by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. So the Edomites are going to be consumed, and we're reading about it in Jeremiah 49. The Lord rising up against you. The Lord getting ready to visit you. And before you're visited physically, you're exposed. Okay? You're exposed for the piece of shit that you are. You're exposed for being the Edomite. And that's, see, you can call them all these profanity words, and you can say this, you can call them a psychopath, you can call them a bitch, you can do all that. You can even call him the devil. But one thing he does not want to be called, neither be equated with, is an Edomite. Amalek. Okay? He wants to be Jacob. But Jacob would be, doing something completely different in the last days than Esau. You fulfilling the lot of Esau. And we fulfill the lot of Jacob. And it's clear to see. And it's going to be made evident as this damn devil goes down. Okay, it says, if grape gatherers can't come up to you, come to thee, would they not leave some gleaning grapes? If thieves by night, they will destroy till they have enough. But I have made Esau bare, right? Because a thief come to your house, he ain't gonna steal the plywood, he ain't gonna steal the garbage bags, right? The Lord is gonna basically destroy everything. He's not gonna leave anything uncovered. I have uncovered his secret places, see? And he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, all you Edomites, and his neighbors. And he is not, because eventually this man is going to be destroyed. Babylon the Great, which is America, is going to be completely destroyed. Okay, and before the destruction, again, you're being uncovered. Okay, you're being scrutinized. You're under careful examination. Every move that you make is being critiqued. And it's being held up to the standard that you so-called put in the earth. So-called humanitarian rights, freedom and liberty and justice for all, education, and everybody gets a fair shake. But now it's like, well, hold on. Like, this don't make no goddamn sense. How am I going to the grocery store? How is eggs $5 a goddamn dozen? It was just $2.50 last year. How is gas this high? Okay, why is all this crime being allowed to be done? Okay, why is everybody sick? Why I'm working more hours and I'm even more broke. They keep going up on rent. It's impossible for me to buy a home. My student loans cannot be forgiven. What the hell is going on? Okay, bear with me. And then everybody's all on the internet and you being exposed. The so-called illuminated ones being exposed. All these hedge fund leaders are being exposed. All these presidents and prime ministers are being exposed. And they all have one thing in common. They're Edomites. Okay, and then you have the Hebrew Israelites, basically, pointing the finger at you. Say, hey, look, that's the Edomite. He's trying to run away. And you got certain Jakes that, they're not going to get it. They're going to fight. They're going to fight for Esau all the way into the end. Until they'll be destroyed. They're going to get it in the kingdom. Okay, that's all I want. There's more on that. There's a lot more. Well, let me just go down. Let me read verse 13. For I have sworn by myself, said the Lord, that Basra shall be a desolation, a reproach, a waste, a curse. And all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. I have heard a rumor from the Lord. Okay, and this goes back into Obadiah. An ambassador is sent unto the heathen, saying, gather ye together and come against her and rise up to the battle. And this is basically, we got to keep reading actually. This is basically what these alliances are, getting ready. Why these alliances are being established. This alliance between Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan was due to the fact of that unjust attack that them small heads did on Qatar. Okay, they literally bombed a sovereign nation. They bombed a nation that was at peace with them, under the guise of we're trying to get terrorists. So you could just bomb. Why wouldn't you link up like, hey, look, we got these terrorists. I want you, can we link up and can we arrest them? No, they ain't like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. We gonna bomb these motherfuckers, and ain't shit you can do about it. Okay. Ain't nothing you could do about it. So these nations like, man, this motherfucker right here, man, look. All right, we got to do something. He ain't going to stop. It could be us. He can literally do that to us. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna take proper precautions, proper measures for that not to happen. Okay? Verse 15. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. Okay? This is despised among men. Okay? Right here.
All what we can not to hurt the citizens. For example, these days, actually today,
You kill more than 70,000 civilians.
no,
There are more than
You see that? That's you're being greatly despised. And then you see, the comment board, right? You see the comment board. Okay. This propaganda, no one believed it. You see in the comment board, they're saying, "Hey, look, man, somebody's calling. So at least somebody's calling this damn devil, and the whole world is gonna rejoice when you fall. These nations, they don't want to be under you. You on some backhanded type shit. And the Chinese, they remember what you did to them. All these Arab nations know what you did to them. You actually, when you came into power, you beat down all the nations. And this is why, if you think about it, this is why Esau is so proud. Because he actually subjugated all the nations on the earth. Okay, in some form or fashion. They were all under him. But now, as we read in Joel, the 3rd chapter, let the weak say I'm strong. The Lord did give you that power. And you didn't give the credit to the Heavenly Father for this. You credit yourself. You credit your ingenuity. You credit your military might and power. Okay, and you gave reverence to are these different generals, okay, these different presidents, and also Satan. You thank Satan for what you have done, and then you said my enterprise, it will be a success. Meaning this is not enough for these other nations to be somewhat sovereign. You want everybody to be under control, under you, through digital means. Okay, this dude is out of his goddamn mind. That's why the scriptures say that he's the vessel of wrath, fitted for destruction. Let me just get 2nd Ezra's. Yeah, because I'm gonna have to start wrapping it up. Bear with me. 2nd Ezra's 6 and 18. And it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. And the Lord is coming to visit you, Esau. He's visited you first by exposing your ass. Okay? By sending out his prophets, by setting his men in order right before your eyes. And there's nothing that you can do about it. Okay? And I will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness. And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. Right? So simultaneously, two things are happening. Okay, Esau, he's being scrutinized. That word inquisition, let's look it up. Okay. Inquisition. The act of inquiring into a matter, an investigation. See? An investigation. Let me look it up in Google. A period of prolonged and intensive questioning or investigation, basically scrutiny. You're being scrutinized. You're under the scopeo. You're under the scope. The whole world is saying, "Wait, hold on," and you're being cursed out by these world leaders. Okay, before that, nobody dared come against you. Okay, so two things are happening. He's being scrutinized. Everybody's being scrutinized, really. But especially those that are in power, all right, that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness. And when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled, who's Zion? So Zion will be in affliction at the end in the last days. Okay, Zion, monument, meaning that's another word for the nation of Israel, all 12 tribes. And here in Babylon the Great, all 12 tribes have been oppressed. Okay, have been completely oppressed, and you haven't stopped. you're not going to stop. The Most High is going to have to stop you. Okay? And that's essentially what's going on. So he's being exposed. And as he's being exposed, our captivity is being turned back. Okay? There's a changing of the guard, if you will. Okay? That's all that I wanted there. Yeah, that's all that I wanted there. Let me just, yeah, I think that's it. We could go on Habakkuk, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I just, I wanted to hit that point. Lord's will come back with some more videos. Until next time, shalom to the elect.